All right, everybody, I'm going to make one of my favorite dishes that is super, super easy. So this is going to be a short video. So a lot of you know that I was a barbecue restaurant owner. Pulled pork was a big deal, and we sold lots and lots and lots of it. So today I'm doing what I call a pulled pork sandwich. It's made with jackfruit. So barbecue jackfruit. The jackfruit that I'm using today is this Arroyo brand. It's just a green jackfruit in a brine. You can get this on Amazon really cheap. You can also buy canned jackfruit for all of $1.99 a can at Trader Joe's. So pretty inexpensive. The only things I use in it is onion and barbecue sauce. And what I'm going to do today, I'm going to set a timer. We'll see how long this takes. So let's get started. We're going to get our timer started. Oops, hold on. That's not the, that's a, I want the stopwatch. All right, stopwatch. First thing I'm going to do, add a little bit of water to this pan. Get you up here a little bit further so you can see what I'm doing. Got a little bit of water in this pan. I'm going to turn this on, get that simmering. I'm going to get a red onion in there. So part of speed depends on how good you are with a knife. And with a bunch of years in the restaurant business, I tend to be pretty quick. So this doesn't need to be really finely diced, but you want it fairly diced up, smaller-ish particles. For this recipe, the onion's a little large. I usually recommend half of a large red onion. This is more like medium, so I'm going to just add a little bit more than that half. Save the rest for maybe a salad or something. Woohoo, my eyes are watering now. So what I'm going to do is get these onions cooked down. We're going to wait till they just get translucent. So it's just water in there. If you have a good hard anodized nonstick pan, this brand is Scan Pan, but I prefer Biletti. You don't need oil. There's no Teflon to leach. It's, a hardened surface, so good stuff. Let's get that rolling. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is we're going to open up this can of jackfruit. I'm going to head over to the sink and drain this real quick. This is what it looks like in the can. There's my jackfruit. So this is really simple. All you do is you take your fork and you press it in like so. You'll see that this is a little bit more difficult on the center piece of it, but this pulls apart and it sure looks like white meat pork. It's pretty amazing. Give you a close-up here. So again, just real simple. Use the fork, split it apart, pull it apart a little bit. On the center core, you do have to press down fairly hard. Outside's nice and soft. So the way that I'm doing this recipe today is going to be pretty simple, meaning that I'm not what some people do with this is once they get it simmered in the barbecue sauce, and it's nice and wet with the barbecue sauce. They'll spread it out on parchment paper on like a cookie sheet and throw it in the oven for a little while to dry it out. Now, I was never a fan of dried out barbecue myself. I always liked it nice and moist. I always like to cook a lot of the sauces in. So that step, which you see a lot of people doing, in my opinion, is unnecessary. And I'll tell you that I've done this recipe I did it for a couple of people that were vegan, and they had a wedding and they wanted their guests to have all vegan food. So this was one of the later appetizers that we did, was jackfruit sliders, and we did some oven roasted potato wedges as well. Just kind of their late night snack for those that were hanging out and partying with the bride and groom and drinking. It was a lot of fun. Got a lot of compliments on it. People couldn't believe how good it was. Today I'm using an off-the-shelf barbecue sauce. Not necessarily whole food plant-based. Might have a little sugar in it. I don't get too picky that way on some things. Generally speaking, I'm 98% whole food plant-based. No meat, no dairy, no eggs, anything like that. But you know, sometimes some refined product is in place if you're in a hurry. You know, sometimes I'll buy off-the-shelf breads as long as there's no eggs or dairy in it. So I do have a recipe that is a Kansas City style barbecue sauce. I'll link it down in the description. Look at this, we're at 5 minutes 38 seconds. Getting pretty close on these onions. I'm going to put this in, add the barbecue sauce, let it simmer for a little while, and it will go on a bun. I think I had a hair bit too much water in this, so I'm going to actually take some of this off. Let that steam out for just a second. And the nice thing about these good nonstick pans is you can cook things at a pretty high temperature, as you can see from this burner. And they're not going to stick unless you're completely out of moisture in it. And you know, those brown little bits that get stuck to the bottom, you can take a little water, you can take a little vinegar, take a little wine if you want to, put it down there and just scrape off those bits, and it gives it a nice flavor. So that's about it on that. Make sure that these are broken apart nicely. Try not to waste anything here. I'm going to add some barbecue sauce. Now, I personally just eye this. You know, it sort of depends on how much you're making. This is going to end up being probably about, 2/3 of a cup, something like that. Might need a little more. I've got another jar of this. Well, as you can see, I'm in my thermals today because I woke up and already in mid-September we're getting frost. So I had to, it was 33 degrees this morning. I had to cover my tomato plants and pick the squash that was left and that type of thing. So I'm going to add just a hair more barbecue sauce to this. So I'm probably right at about 3/4 of a cup or so. And if you like it real saucy, you can always add more. A lot of people do this on the bottom of their sauce. Just tap it at a 45-degree angle. Ketchup's the same way. It comes out real easily if you do that. Little trick of the food trade. Okay, I'm going to turn that down a little bit. Hear that simmering real good there. Smells absolutely delicious. We're going to get our barbecue sauce worked in. And then all we got to do is make sure that jackfruit's hot. We want to simmer it just a little while because it'll tenderize it. From a barbecue guy, I'm a sauce guy, so I don't mind lots of barbecue sauce. I'll give you an idea of what this looks like here. So you got that barbecue sauce nice and stirred in there, coating everything. We're just gonna turn that down and let it simmer for a few minutes. In the meantime, I'm gonna throw a bun in the toaster. And the other thing that you'll notice about me is I try and clean as I go. Oh, also I had mentioned that I had to get the squash out of the garden, so over here I've got a little butternut squash. I'm going to steam it with some other vegetables in a little while. Throw a little herbes de Provence, a little Mrs. Dash on there, steam it up, and that in and of itself is a decent enough dinner. We're at a little over 10 minutes here. And as soon as that bun is done toasting, we should have food. Turn that down just a hair. There's our timer. A little over 11 minutes. That jackfruit now is nice and tender in there. That's what I'm checking for, making sure everything's nice and tender. And that, in 13 minutes and 9 seconds, is pretty much ready to serve. Take this nice little ciabatta roll out of the fridge, fridge, out of the toaster. Turn that off. Very hot. But you can see how beautiful that is. So, hope you enjoyed that. And stay tuned. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit that notification bell. And I'm going to have the next video be 4 recipes. I'm going to do all things pumpkin. Pumpkin hummus, pumpkin pancakes, a pumpkin coconut curry, and what was the other one? Oh, pumpkin leek soup. So we'll have those coming up on the next video. So do subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. And I forgot to stop the timer, but even after my first bite, 14 minutes and 40 seconds.